Doing it.
Okay.
It says that the webinar is now streaming live on YouTube.
Oh. The webinar.
The webinar.
The question is, where is it streaming live on YouTube?
It's on our channel.
Okay.
Is it?
You say so.
It is.
Zoom
According to this.
like
I'm looking
years
right now.
ahead of Skype in terms of video and audio quality. So I think folks will.
Okay.
And Google Hangouts, by the way.
There we go.
Yeah. I'm gonna pop out the chat. Pop out the chat.
Pop out the chat. Pop it out.
Oh.
I'm not seeing the one that's streaming right now.
I do.
No,
I see
it's
it.
there.
Why can't I see
Oddly
it?
enough, it doesn't show like the thumbnails of the 4 participants. It just shows whoever's talking. That's
Well,
weird.
this
I
sucks.
can
Why
look
isn't
it
this
up.
working?
Because you did something wrong.
No, I didn't. I went to YouTube. I didn't do anything wrong.
Well, you did it wrong.
There are people in the chat that say that they see us.
I know. I just would like to see the chat.
Are
That's
you
all.
using Canadian?
Canadian
Oh God, I don't know if I have the patience for Phil tonight. I really don't.
Did the hurricane take out your
It's
ability
been a
to pop out
long
the chat?
weekend.
Oh, life is tough when you are a tough guy like Greg. Uh-oh, wait a second. Oh, my goodness.
What?
Well, I'll talk
that?
about that on the
What?
show.
Oh, geez.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, geez.
Oh, gosh, fellas.
Oh well.
This
Greg, I
is
just
really...
tweeted out the link if you're having trouble using the YouTube search box.
I'm on our channel.
Yeah,
It was there for me.
I just did a YouTube search and that's right
it should be fine.
It was on my... I went to our channel and it was there. I'm looking at it now.
It says that our channel is broadcasting, but for some reason, when I go there, it won't show me the current broadcast.
Well,
Here, I can put the link for you in Slack.
It's really the principle at this point.
See, there it is. Look at that. I
It,
did
like,
it.
only shows me. It's weird.
Okay.
Oh God!
yep.
What?
Now it's an image of Phil's face. I don't want that.
I'm
Never mind.
larger than life and
I changed my
twice
mind.
as ugly.
I changed my mind. I want to get off this ride.
Only 2 tickets.
44p.
If I change it to speed, if I change it to this view, does it show everybody's thumbnail?
I don't know. I'm not watching.
Well, somebody tell me.
Yeah,
Is it
I-
showing all 4 of us now?
It's a split screen of 4
This-
people.
Split screen. Is that
4
better, or
full-size
do you just want the
boxes.
speaker view?
I think that's good.
This is probably okay, right?
Keeps people on
'Cause-
their toes so they can't screw around.
Because otherwise you can't see everybody's thumbnail. You can't see the reaction shots, and that's what people come to Player One Podcast YouTube episodes for, right? Oh,
Think about how many more viewers you would get if you guys, did the YouTuber like shocked face. like
Yeah.
all those video game
Apparently.
YouTubers do. Like, oh
Yeah.
my God. Like, can
that's
you
gonna be our
believe that?
thumbnail
Big-
for every episode. Yeah.
Big red arrows pointing to things.
Circling a box art that was obviously photoshopped onto my hands because I don't actually have the game. We all know who those folks are. I hate that. I have to so many times I need to go like, I am not interested. I am not interested. I am not
Ugh.
interested. Stop showing me those folks.
I hate that stuff.
Ugh.
YouTube's recommendation engine is just terrible. Just terrible.
Yep.
Anyway, well, there you go, Phil. You're doing it.
There it is.
You did it.
I know what the kids want. They want shocked faces and they want fidget spinners.
You just so happen to have a fidget spinner right there.
You know what?
Perfect.
I keep 2 things handy all the time. I keep a good old fidget spinner and I
Yeah.
keep a good old slide whistle
Yeah.
always ready.
By the way, I forgot to
Never
start
know.
recording, so I'm going to go ahead and start
Oh
recording.
crap! I should
I've been
start.
recording for 2 minutes.
Let me open
I
up
forgot to
Audacity.
do that.
Let me open up Audacity here. I need
Oh,
to.
I'm
Lord.
recording.
Oh no!
Come on, Audacity. Don't
Wow.
fail me
Wow.
now. Microphone. Ooh, good thing I checked. Microphone. There you go.
That is a good
It
thing.
was soaking up the webcam microphone. We don't want that.
No,
don't
we don't.
Want that. But now I am recording. So
Okay, let's do one of them claps. You
let's do it.
ready? Okay. 3, 2, 1. Did it.
I love it.
I love it too. Hello and welcome to episode 670 for blah, 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 blah. Let me start that again.
Come on, man.
Boy.
We've only done 670 of these. Hello and welcome to episode 670 of the Player One podcast for Tuesday, September 10th, 2019. I am your host, Chris Johnston, and with me, as always, from Canada, Mr. Greg Seward. How you
Evening. I'm doing pretty good. We got our power back.
That's good. Hurricane ravaged Halifax.
Yes, the hurricane ravaged Halifax. Exactly.
Onyawa hurricane.
Didn't used to happen. Now it's happening.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
It's almost like the climate is changing.
Well, I mean, I don't want to give all those con artists in the scientific community any kind of credit that they don't deserve, but
Right.
there might be something to it.
And joining me
Political
from
commentary on the Player One podcast.
Oh God! And joining me from the great state of Washington, Mr. Phil Theobald.
Here's the thing I don't get.
Oh God!
This could be a long list.
And this is why I think that these so-called hurricanes are actually false flag by the Weather Association. The Earth, as we all know, is a circular disc, and therefore wind currents cannot move in such a way to create spiral-shaped winds. You need...
Kevin has already got his head in his hands. He's missing whatever wrestling PPV is on tonight for this. Because we all know there is one.
That's right. Oh, and we have a special guest today.
Oh.
Mr. Kevin Larrabee from the Fitcast and Back in My Play. Thank you for joining us.
My before picture.
Always a pleasure to hang out and chat with you guys. Thanks for having me back on. No pay-per-view tonight, but the Patriots did just hang another banner. I know it's so boring, just another championship, and they're playing again tonight. So hopefully for step
Go
one,
Pats.
game one of that undefeated season.
Yep.
We just got a new receiver too. I forget who it was though.
I don't really care.
Okay.
Go Pats.
Yeah. Anyway, we're all back from PAX, all rested, ready to go.
When you say back from PAX, you mean like I went back to my home that's about 20 minutes away from PAX.
To my home. Exactly right. The only one who did any traveling for that is
And
Greg.
back to my home that's 7.5 hours away from PAX at
Yeah.
500 kilometers an hour.
That's
Yeah.
right. And you didn't
Oh,
get
we're
home
having a
until
festival.
what, 2 in the morning?
That's about 3 o'clock in
3?
the morning. Yeah.
And
Well,
did
there was
you-
a delay in Toronto, which there always is. So
Did you take the day off of work that day, or did you go?
yeah.
Okay.
I previously taken that day off because Air Canada. I knew I wasn't getting home when they said I was, and even if I had gotten home when they said I would, it would have been like 1 o'clock in the morning. So
Right.
One
Yeah.
1 o'clock in the morning a.m.
yes,
Wow, that's early.
Greg needs his beauty sleep. Can't you tell?
clearly
Yes.
I haven't been getting enough for the last 40 years.
Oh yeah. Anyway,
Yes.
let's talk some news. Because
Was there any news? I thought PAX was the end of the news. I thought
that
that
was the end of the news. Yeah, kind of. Although Tokyo Game Show is starting up this week, so
Does anyone care about Tokyo Game Show?
got some teases for that. Starting off, Capcom teasing a new Resident Evil that's going to be shown off at the show. Project Resistance, and
Ooh.
some stills leaked out because they were video thumbnails apparently.
Yeah.
So it sort of looks like a 4-player cooperative game, but it's going to be at TGS September 12th through the 15th. So you'll get to, if you're there, which none of us are, you get to play it.
Cool.
See more on it, and they're going to show off some kind of trailer on the 9th. So
That's tomorrow.
get ready for that. That's
All right.
tomorrow
Or yesterday,
as we
depending on when you
record
listen to
this.
Yeah.
So the news has already happened. So go check that out. Yeah, always exciting to have a new Resident Evil game.
Is it?
Well, I think this is not a mainline Resident Evil game, so it's like in the Outbreak ilk. So
Yeah.
it seems like it looks like it might be a 4-player co-op Left 4 Dead type experience, which could be really cool if they do
Could
it
be
right. But I just feel like these non-numbered Resident Evil games have not really been very good for probably since the PS2, and even at that point, they were probably just good to okay games.
Remember Remember when the last good Resident Evil game came out 14 years ago?
Wait, which one was that?
Well, that was 4.
4? I thought 7 was good. People love 7.
4 is very good.
People love 7 though.
Yeah, it wasn't 7 wasn't as good as 4,
Yeah.
but it was really good.
Put it this way: 4
But
still holds.
This is in keeping with the conversation we had last week, where if the game's not the best game in the series, in Phil's mind, it's the worst game ever.
Exactly. That's how it works.
The internet has poisoned Phil's mind. If
it's not the best, it's the worst.
It's the worst.
There's no.
If you're not with me, you're against me.
Here's the thing, Greg.
There's
only
no
a
middle ground.
Sith deals in absolutes.
Exactly. Wait, what?
Yep.
Does that make you a Sith?
Is that how that works?
I'm not sure where that leaves us.
You're going down a road I can't follow, Greg.
Mm-hmm.
All right then. Anyway,
unlimited power.
right then. So, otherwise, the news from last week is mostly all surrounding the Nintendo Direct.
Yeah, I can see you highlighting it right now in our document.
You can see me highlighting it. Yes, we got a lot of things. I guess we should just front load this with probably the thing all of us are most interested in, that Super Nintendo
Overwatch.
Well, that's what I'm interested in for sure. But no, Super Nintendo games have been added to Nintendo Switch Online. So library of 20 games got dropped on the 5th, because the Super Nintendo games weren't added until the day after the Direct. So we got 20 games. Those are Brawl Brothers, Breath of Fire, Demon's Crest, F-Zero, Joe and Mac 2, Lost in the Tropics, Kirby's Dream Course, Kirby's Dream Land 3, The Legend of Zelda, A Link to the Past, Pilot Wings, Star Fox, Stunt Race FX, Super EDF, Earth Defense Force, Super Ghouls and Ghosts, Super Mario Kart, Super Mario World, Super Metroid, Super Puyo Puyo 2, Super Soccer, Super Tennis, and Yoshi's Island, Super Mario World 2.
Man, I'm just having flashbacks to the stupid naming convention.
How everything was Super?
Yeah.
And then the N64, everything was 64, and the DS, everything had the D, like Dragon.
At least with DS, they tried to be creative about it.
True.
Earth Defense Force, is that related at all to the current Earth Defense Force series? No.
It is
side-scrolling shooter.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I thought, but I wasn't sure.
Not at all related.
Yeah, so that's cool, right? I mean, we have Super Nintendo games on the service now, so that's awesome. Can't wait to see what they drip feed us every month.
Well, here's the other.
Be getting games every month. So.
That's the other news. Yeah, apparently the schedule is changing, and it's not going to be monthly anymore. It's going to be periodically. But I imagine that means the drops will be larger. Like, we won't have 2 games. It'll be a larger selection of games from both the NES and Super Nintendo. So that's not awful.
Nope, it's not.
They kind of front loaded all the really good games with this update, right?
I don't know if I go that far.
What's
good update?
I mean, here's the one that matters: Stunt Race FX. Yeah,
I tried to play that. That was the first thing I jumped in to play.
That was actually the same thing I did.
the first
that
time
game
available.
Is impossible to play.
I know, the first time it's been made available since its initial release on the Super Nintendo.
Yeah, and that was that in the press release?
Yeah, I think that was one of the.
And you play it and you go, yeah, I get it.
At the time, though, it
wasn't.
impressive.
CJ.
Yes, it
No.
was. It was.
No.
The cars have little googly eyes on them.
It actually wasn't.
It was, though. I love that game.
Even back in the day, because I loved Star Fox.
This game's so bad that Phil and I agree. That's how bad this is.
Kevin, you're gonna have to come in and save me, please. Stunt Race, you gotta, please.
Well, I think it was really impressive, and it was what Miyamoto used to kind of flex the Super FX chip. And I think you can also look at Star Fox today and say, hey, this runs really slow, but back then it was super friggin' impressive. It was awesome, and it has one of the secret best soundtracks on the Super Nintendo as well.
Go back and play.
Wait, are you talking about Star Fox or are you talking about Stunt Race?
Talking about Star Fox.
Okay, well, Star Fox, no one's questioning Star Fox. We're talking about Stunt Race.
You got to keep in mind on what this console was doing for a console that came out in 1990 in Japan, and this game was doing 3D graphics.
Let me tell you a story about a console that came out in 1988 in Japan that was doing better 3D graphics than this.
Oh, you think
without a chip?
Hard driving looks terrible compared.
Dude,
to
you put
stuff.
Virtual Racing up against this. There's no
You're
comparison.
nuts.
Wait.
Let's get John Lennon on the line. Let's call him up.
There's
Wait, are
no
you saying-
comparison.
Are you saying there was no extra chip in the virtual
No,
racing?
I was
carts?
actually talking about the fact that the Genesis was doing 3D games in
Ah.
89
Ah.
and 90 that were running at comparable speeds to the crap that the FX chip was putting out.
All I know,
God,
all I know is that back.
what happened to you guys?
I'm not on board with this Genesis nonsense.
No,
But I will say that
Stunt Race FX sucked.
back in the day,
Even back in the day.
I loved Star Fox.
Yeah,
I
same
was
here.
super into Star Fox. I played the
Same
hell out
here.
of Star Fox. I competed in
Didn't do
the
that part.
Star Fox weekend competition and damn near won too. Some dude came in like right at the last minute and sniped my victory away from me. But
He didn't own a hot sauce company, did he?
no, he was some jerk who worked in the arcade
Oh, okay.
who had been, because I worked at the Babbage's at the time,
Right.
and I ran over on my break to the KB Toys, they were hosting the competition. Boom, boom, boom. Like first thing that first day, got this incredibly high score because I'd been playing the hell out of Star Fox. And my high score held all through like Friday, Saturday, Sunday. The dude who worked at the arcade kept coming in and was just like, I'm going to beat your high score. I will. And he played like, 50 times and finally, like at the last day, finally squeaked past my high score and came in to gloat. And I
I
was
think
just like, wow.
this is interesting because it's a conversation I had with John Lennon a couple of weeks ago, and I think I'm a little bit younger than you guys, but back when those games
Everybody
came
is.
out on the Super Nintendo,
Yeah.
I was super impressed, and I didn't really care so much about frame rate. Where I think today we are just like always conscious of 60 and 30 is a lock 30 is a lock 60, and whenever we see something below 30, we freak out. Like, oh my god, this is
Unplayable.
just
I would say
unplayable.
that you're right, but I just want to say that is not where I'm coming from.
Yeah. My point.
I don't care about frame rate now. I'll sit and play, like I said, I'll play
It's
hard driving on the
ran
Genesis.
at like 1 frame per second.
What I'm saying is that even back then,
Yeah.
Stunt Race FX
Yeah.
did not play well. It
My
didn't
point-
look good.
My point about all
Such a
the
waste of
Star
time.
Fox love. My point about all the Star Fox love is I was so into Star Fox back in the day. And then
Right.
Stunt Race FX came out and I was very excited because I was like, sweet, a racing game. But
That was
Star
unplayable.
Fox, but a racing game. And I tried it and I was like, oh, this is terrible. I can't play this.
Yeah.
Because it was bad even back then.
I played
Sorry.
Stunt Race FX so much I got first place on all the tracks.
Good
So
Lord.
I loved it so much. Yes, and it came out the summer I got hired at EGM.
What year was that?
And
93?
Like 90. I think it came out in 93, but
93, 94?
94.
Hmm.
Yeah. So and at one point they needed screenshots of later tracks from Stunt Race
Yeah.
FX, and I was like, oh
you-
man,
Did you have to bring your cart in?
I had to bring my card in, yeah, because I had everything unlocked.
Wow.
And could run each race pretty perfectly. So
Nice.
yeah.
I'm just
Anyway,
but seriously,
that's-
to go back to what we're talking about, I am not looking at it through the lens of 2019 because I don't do that generally. But I'm just saying, speaking as someone who owned and played the hell out of hard driving on the Genesis, but in 1990, by that time, Stunt Race FX was unplayable.
Okay,
That's-
I think we
that was
spent
my
way
feeling.
too much time talking about.
No, I
the
love
games
this.
that
Let's
no
keep
one is
going.
gonna play.
You are
on-
absolutely. You are
Well,
Well, I
absolutely
mean,
right.
Phil and I both played it first off because CJ. So
Yeah.
That's right.
that's two more
Thank you
plays
for
than it was ever
playing
going to get.
one of my
That's-
favorite games. Yes, thank
Well,
you.
that's what a service like this is good for. It's for weird games
Sure.
like that you're going to play for 5 minutes and then you
Yeah.
will never touch again, and it's a great value.
Can I delete it off the
You
page?
put it to the
No,
bottom of the list. You can rearrange the game. So
Oh
you
no,
can-
rearrange
it's got to
it.
be in alphabetical order. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, now they have they updated both the NES and Super Nintendo apps, and you can sort the games alphabetically. Previous with the NES version, I was manually sorting.
You had to do it
everything.
manual, which
Yeah, making them
I did.
box arts across. I did that all the time, every month.
Oh,
2 new
my.
games come out. Here, let me
Such a-
resort the entire list.
Such
Did
a
you really?
loser.
Oh,
I
my.
Oh
did.
yeah.
I did.
Yikes.
But now there's an auto sort, so I don't have to do that anymore.
Well, the
Yeah.
real
Nice.
the real best feature about these SNES games on the Switch is they finally gave you the option to turn off the little button prompts at the bottom of the screen.
That they
They
did,
did,
yes.
but it also, when you first started, it asks, do you want the button like different? I don't know what it is. If it's giving you like a bit of a tutorial to let you know, like, do you want the different buttons to pop up? And they will pop up on a little banner. I have no idea how to make them go away.
Settings.
It's a
They-
setting.
They do a well, when you first start it up, it gives you like, oh, if you press the
A tooltip.
Right,
shoulder
that's what I'm talking
buttons-
about.
Yeah, it gives
It's
you a
those
tooltip,
things.
but it's only like the first time you do it.
Yeah.
That's
and if
happened
you-
like 2 or 3 times to me.
If you press the like LR and ZR, they would
Yeah,
or not
you have to-
LR, but Z.
you have to do what they're telling you to do.
Yes, you have
Yeah.
to do it,
Yeah.
and then it will go away.
I just wish there was a way to make it go away otherwise, instead of
Yeah.
having to pop into the sub menu. So
yeah,
okay, at least I'm not crazy. It's just you just have to do what it tells you to do. Good.
but
It
I
has
mean,
it has the rewind feature, of
Yeah.
course, that the
Mhm.
NES version got updated with, and also you can play these games online. So I've noticed a bunch of YouTube channels. Game Explain did a Super Mario Kart multiplayer session, and it appears to work pretty well. You can
Yeah,
play
somebody was
Super Mario Kart online.
Someone was showing a Super Tennis session there earlier that I was watching, and it seemed to run nice.
And Super Puyo Puyo 2, I think that one has like a 4-player mode as well.
Oh,
So
neato.
I wonder
the
if that would work.
downside is you're playing
Yeah?
It's
Puyo
Puyo
Puyo.
Puyo. Yeah.
Well,
Mm,
yeah, I guess.
Yeah,
I like Puyo Puyo.
Puyo Puyo is like the Stunt Race FX of puzzle games.
But here's what I really want to see them do, right? Either Tetris Attack or
Mhm.
Panel de Pong.
yeah.
Since
Yeah.
they've obviously opened the door to releasing Japanese games in
Yes.
North America with Puyo Puyo 2, that
Yeah,
means they
right.
could potentially do Panel de Pong,
You get around the
on the
Tetris
Super
license
NES.
issue.
get around the Tetris
Right.
like, even though Tetris Attack has absolutely nothing to do
Right there in the
with
name.
Tetris whatever.
Right there in the name.
Yeah, clearly it does.
Yeah.
Tetris Attack.
It's right
Yeah.
there in the title. It has something to do with Tetris. Sorry.
I think
Question
it
is, will we? Sorry.
Oh no, I just think it is worth noting. Like this is, it's a great announcement. It's a really good lineup of games, but
Yep.
there's still some ways that Nintendo can improve their emulator setup and the options that they provide you. It's still kind of bare bones, and also for folks like first world problems. Like I have an OLED TV, so the fact that you can't turn off the border for
Right.
the emulator is it's actually a big deal.
Mhm,
And
mhm.
also, it wasn't just me. Actually, as soon as this released, I booted it up and I started playing F-Zero. Of course, it was at the top of the list, and also it has great music. So, booted it up, and the sound is super low. Like
It
that
is low,
something-
yeah.
That's something that probably isn't a super hard fix, but it's like these are the kind of things that I'm always like, man, how do they miss this? Like, how do you like not address this before releasing that stuff? But hopefully they do listen to feedback, and eventually this message gets on a boat and eventually makes it to Japan, and then they fix it.
Well, I mean, they did add the option to turn off that lower text, so
Did take
Maybe
about 6 months though.
Progress.
Kevin,
progress.
Kevin,
What's up, man?
let's pretend that I'm an idiot.
Okay.
Okay.
You're going to ask what I was going to ask.
Explain to me,
As you would a child.
as you would a child,
Oh no.
Yes.
why it is important to be able to turn off those borders on an
Yes.
OLED television.
Because OLEDs, they're better now, but they are
Mhm.
still perceptible to burn-in.
Oh,
If you
okay.
have
Oh,
that image on there the whole time, which is like, and it's like the worst possible image too, because it's a checkered image.
Oh,
so
geez, yeah.
It will burn into the TV. Like if you play, it would really take like 6 hours of you playing a game. But if you're playing something like Breath of Fire and you're playing for a long time,
Right.
and it's, the TVs are much better now where they can wash it away and stuff. But it's just one of those things where just give me an option for a completely black border, so those pixels can be completely shut off, or go the Super Game Boy route. Like it'd be cool if they put in some unique borders for these individual games. Like it'd be really fun if they did stuff like that, and that's totally a Nintendo thing to do.
Right.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, and I do wonder if they'll do things like the SP versions of the games that we got on the NES side of things.
I would think
on the
so.
Super Nintendo side. Yeah, that'd be cool.
Seems likely.
Seems likely. I do wonder what cadence they're going to release things on. If they are not doing monthly, which it appears to be the case, like what is the cadence going to be?
Probably da 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 da.
There
Fits
we
and
go.
Spurts. Get Arrow the Acrobat on there. which would be,
Finally.
a
Bubsy,
nice,
the original Bubsy.
original Bubsy. Like get that really good licensed content.
Right.
The wheeler and dealers that Nintendo can put together. But I think I'm kind of shocked that you're getting something like Breath of Fire. I think Square Enix and Capcom have been very good to the Switch. But what I would love to see, of course, would be something I talked with Mike about is like I would love a 16-bit Final Fantasy collection where give it the Seiken Densetsu 3 treatment and do a real good retranslation of Final Fantasy 5. I know they did it for the GBA, but give me 4, 5, and 6. And I don't think that's something that they would put out on this collection. I think it's probably something they'd more likely do with the collection that they did for Secret of Mana.
And then while we're at it, let's do the same thing for Dragon Quest.
For sure. Like, imagine if you got like a retranslated version of Dragon Quest V, which they have from the DS.
Exactly.
That's maybe it's in like top 3 RPGs of all time.
Yeah,
Well,
those ones
apparently-
especially, just because we never got to play them officially in English on the 16-bit system that they originated from, right?
As an
So it'd be
aside,
nice.
the Japanese version of the Direct had an announcement of, I think it was in the Direct anyway, but the Dragon Quest 1, 2, and 3 are coming to the Switch
Oh, really?
this year as well. And there's some report that that's going to happen in English as well, but they're the mobile versions of
Ones you don't want. They're
Dragon
terrible.
Quest. So it's not.
It's literally like the worst possible interpretation of those graphics that you could have ever put together. And that's why I hope for Square Enix, like I would rather them not give us the mobile port of Chrono Trigger. Like I would really love to just give me the SNES ROM. Like that's really all you need to do. Dump it on there and make it happen.
But then they can't make any money off that.
Oh, I'm sure Nintendo will give them a check.
I'm sure that probably is how it works. But
I mean, unless we need to jailbreak these things and just dump some ROMs on it, which I know people are doing, but I would rather go the legal route.
Right. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how that all pans out. And of course, if you're a member of Nintendo Switch Online, they are offering Super Nintendo controllers, wireless controllers for the Switch, and you'll be able to buy those. Those are not available yet, but a single controller will run you $29.99.
Seems fair.
So, and it's charged via USB-C cable, not strapped to the side of the system like the NES controllers were.
Right.
So,
and you guys all have your D-pads on your Nintendo Switch?
Mm-hmm.
I don't.
That is such an easy purchase. You should absolutely.
The Hori.
Yeah, I mean, they have them in the States now too, so you don't have to like import them. But I think these games are unplayable with those buttons or the analog stick. That Hori D-pad is very, very good.
Yeah,
never comes off my Switch.
I was actually playing Link to the Past with the analog stick, and it felt fine.
That would be okay.
It felt fine.
Really?
It was fine.
Yeah.
A Link to the Past, I feel like would probably feel okay with the analog stick just because he's not locked to the cardinal directions.
Right. Yeah.
I tried to play Breath of Fire using the analog stick, and it was it felt terrible.
Those like literally 4-direction RPGs do not work very, very well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope we get some really awesome, like unique games on this thing. Like there are so many awesome hard, like again, if they're giving us stuff, like if on day one, they're giving us stuff like Demon's Crest, which is like $120 cart right now. That'd be really great. And it can make all the collectors sad.
I also love that they, even in the North American region, they put Puyo Puyo 2 on there. Not that I'm excited about that game, but the fact that it's an import game, that it's, I mean, there's about 1,000 games for that system.
Yeah. I mean, Super Mario is
definitely something they can pick up.
That you just purchased while you were here for PAX. They could put that on there, right?
Yes.
You got Wrecking Crew 98. You got Kirby's Superstar Stacker.
Mario and Wario.
It came out. Mario and Wario, yeah. Although that's a mouse game, might be a little difficult. But yeah, there's a bunch of games.
Give me
And
Terranigma, a game that came out in
There's a
Europe.
game that they should release.
And,
Yes.
Yeah,
Terranigma.
Terranigma would be and what's the game that came out before that I'm blanking on right now? Soul Blazer.
Soul Blade? Soul Blazer?
Soul Blazer. Oh man, so good.
Yeah.
Well, you need Mario's Super Picross.
I said that.
Did you say that?
I did.
Yep.
Oh, you know what else? You know what else they could do is Rockman and Forte.
Ah.
Yeah,
there you
finally
go.
get an official North American version of that doesn't come from the Game Boy Advance.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Which,
That
by the
sounds
way,
good.
that game's really super hard.
Yeah, it's not easy.
Yeah. Anyway, maybe we should talk about some of the other things from the Nintendo Direct, because there were kind of a lot of games in this presentation. Of course, kicked off with Overwatch, which I'm very excited about. It comes out on October 15th. Apparently, community manager with Blizzard confirmed that it's going to be 30 frames per second locked, 900p docked, and 720p handheld. So from some of the Overwatch hardcore, they're not happy with that, but I play Overwatch casually, so I'm totally into it. Let's bring it on. I have it pre-ordered already. I'm ready to go. But yeah, we got some new information on Luigi's Mansion 3. They showed off some new floors of the hotel in that, which continues to look great.
It's awesome.
Less than 2
And there's
months
a
away.
pirate themed level, so I'm in.
So excited.
We got sort of a recap of the Animal Crossing announcements that came out during the Treehouse section during E3, but it all looks fantastic, and I'm so happy that you can play local multiplayer with that. I'm sure that Charlotte and I are going to be playing a lot of Animal Crossing.
Yeah,
that way.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah, Link's Awakening, of course, continues to look great, and that's
That
only
comes-
a few days away now.
I know.
man.
It's like a week and a half away.
Can't wait.
Game's so
Jay,
pretty.
you're gonna have to put a lot of effort into playing through that, because I would like to do a follow-up episode of Back My Play ASAP.
Yeah, we should
because
totally do that.
We obviously got a little bit of
Flack?
blowback, not absolutely loving Link's Awakening DX, and it is a game that I do love, but I think it had to deal with the limitations of the Game Boy, right? Where this actually, like, one of the best things I saw from the video of it is that you can have 2 items selected plus your shield plus your sword all at once. So you're not pausing, going back and forth, and you can't have your sword and your shield out all the time. So I think this is going to be a much more enjoyable trip through this journey. And of course, from top to bottom, the visuals and the music just seems so good. I just can't wait to play it.
Same here. Pokemon Sword and Shield, they showed off some new stuff for that. Continues to look awesome, of course. They did a shadow drop of Super Kirby Clash.
So is that just like
start.
a battle Kirby game?
It's like a boss rush.
Boss rush, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but you can play with up to 4 people, local or online. And it's a free to start game. So, and I believe that it's similar to other Nintendo free to start games, where after you spend over a certain threshold, it you don't have to worry about it anymore.
Not true.
Okay,
But
No,
is
really?
that
Not true?
Is that not true?
No, it is
No?
not true.
Okay.
We can talk about
I'll
that
do-
and what you've been playing, though, as I have been playing that.
Then I will delete that from the audio. We got an update.
Own your mistake.
All of our mistakes stay in. But
That's
Yeah.
right. I only
Yeah.
delete
That's
my
cool,
own mistakes.
Johnston.
Spread the word, people watching on YouTube.
Tetris
CJ
90
doesn't know what he's talking about.
It's true. It's true. Tetris 99 got an update with some new stuff there, plus another DLC pack that adds 2-player local.
Is it original Game Boy?
What?
Is that the new theme? Is it original Game Boy theme?
They already offered that
They
one.
already have that.
So the new one isn't an original Game Boy theme?
Well, there are several new themes.
They
can
have
get now.
several new themes.
But are any of them
Mario
original
and
Game
Zelda.
Boy?
No.
It
Well,
looks
then I
like
don't
they're
care.
from Tetris DS. Did you play?
My
did
point
you-
is I don't
yes.
care.
Did you not play Tetris 99 the weekend when they
Yes,
had the Game
it's a
Boy?
joke. I'm saying all that mattered was the original Game Boy theme.
It is.
Oh, okay.
It
Good
is
Lord.
a little bit of a bummer because there's like, oh, here's like a dozen new themes you can earn. but it's
And
like
you already did the best one.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did the
Yeah.
best one already.
Yeah.
But you can get your Mario theme and your Zelda theme.
Donkey Kong,
Nice. Yeah. I'll take those. Sure.
good arcade Donkey Kong, not rarefied Donkey Kong.
You
Right,
know,
and
they
they-
should. Speaking of that, they should do themes based on all the different arcade versions of Tetris, from like Sega and Tengen
Atari.
and Atari. I should
I'm
say.
sure they'll do that.
Yeah, they will not do
Yeah,
that.
I'm sure
but
they'll get right on it.
they should.
I'm surprised they haven't done like an NES Tetris though.
Yeah, actually, that is
That would
surprising.
make sense. That would make sense.
Yeah.
But they added some other modes to that. Like there's one you can only enter if you've gotten first in
Yeah.
Tetris 99,
I have not
So I'll
unlocked
never
that
get
mode.
that.
Yeah.
which I have not unlocked. No.
Even if it was top 10, I probably wouldn't get that. But
Ugh.
Yeah,
I'm
and
so
they added daily challenges as well that you can you win tickets which you can then spend on themes. So each theme that they added to in this update is 15 tickets, and you can earn that pretty quick. So we got to look at Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games, which the retro mode, the Tokyo 1964 mode, looks excellent, and this is the first time that I'm interested in one of these Olympic Games. It looks great with the retro Mario sprites.
there's apparently a whole story.
16-bit sprites,
So it's based on what's Tokyo. It's based on a previous Tokyo Olympics. I forget
1964.
64.
Yeah,
which is fitting where it's Nintendo. But yeah, I love. Apparently, it's like a whole story mode to go with it.
Story mode to go with it. Yeah,
That's pretty cool.
All of the contestants get warped back to 1964, and
Yeah,
it's cool.
Do they have to like save JFK's life or something?
wow.
What?
In Tokyo?
Well, if they landed in Tokyo. We got to get to America. We only have a couple of years
Oh.
before they kill JFK.
Wow.
Oh,
Let's go. Wahoo!
I'm gonna leave that in.
Donkey Kong, you go investigate the grassy knoll. I'm going to go look at the book depository. Wahoo!
Oh no. We got an announcement of Tokyo. I'm just popping all over.
Back and to the left. Wahoo!
CJ's popping and locking.
Popping and
Popping
locking.
and locking.
Tokyo Mirage Sessions #FE Encore is coming out in January.
Oh yes, awesome.
So
On
this was a
board.
game that was on Wii U that
No one played because it
Not
was
enough
on
people
the-
played.
Nobody played it, and I
Yeah.
will absolutely play this on the Switch. It is I'm very very excited for this. This is
Yeah.
more Shin Megami Tensei. Get me more Persona games on the Switch. Maybe even something with number 5 in it.
Phil,
Yeah?
wasn't Kennedy assassinated in 63?
Was he?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably. Whoops!
Oh no, they've been
We missed our
They've been,
target. We got to go back.
they're too late. Too late.
You know what I was getting confused with was the moon landing.
Yes. So
That's
maybe they've
happened in
gone back to stop the
64.
moon landing so the Russians can win. That-
Oh god.
Only Sputnik can be in a space.
Mario's a communist.
Mario is a double agent.
Woohoo!
There you go.
There we go.
A demo for Damon X Machina came out. Prologue demo. Your progress will
Now-
carry over.
Now,
to the
Greg,
game.
What?
did you just look
Oh, I
up-
didn't know that. I had to look it up.
Okay,
Why
I
would
just
I don't know.
I
I,
just
know- I
wanna-
didn't know what year Kennedy was
want to
assassinated.
make sure that we're all idiots here.
I feel
It's
like
not
that's a
just-
fairly important event in American
you sh-
history. I feel like
really
you know.
read Stephen King's last great book. It's actually a great book and a great Hulu miniseries.
It is a great Hulu miniseries. That's a great one. Return of the
is-
Obra Dinn.
is
Greg.
Wait a minute. Back up. Is it actually called The Last Great Book?
No.
No, it's I think it's 11. It was the date of JFK's assassination.
Oh, okay. I just like that you made the recommendation, but didn't tell us what the book was.
Well, it was a very popular book. I figured you would have seen it, or the Hulu miniseries.
Listen,
starring
we didn't
James
know.
Franco.
We didn't know the year Kennedy was assassinated. That was a pretty important date.
Must be a Canadian thing.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway, Return of the Obra Dinn coming
Yes.
to Switch. 2019. That's awesome. Deadly Premonitions.
I back this up a little bit. Back it up.
Yeah,
Because Oberdin was one of my favorite games last year, and I want to call out that CJ says he'll finally get to play Oberdin. Can I please point out that you bought a PC to play a Sea of Thieves?
Yes,
You've had the capability of playing Oberdin for like a year now.
True.
Yeah, but that's not
And
Sea of Thieves.
probably cheaper than it will be on Switch.
It's on my Steam wish list.
All right.
That makes you feel better.
No.
Okay. So Deadly Premonition 2 got announced. And then they followed that up with Deadly Premonition Origins, the first game being available on Switch of the day of the Direct.
I think this is first a great announcement because I think Deadly Premonition is outstanding.
Now, when you say outstanding, do you mean an outstanding game, or
do
you mean in a so bad it's good type of way?
I think it is wacky. It's a wacky game, and
because I've never played it.
It is absolutely worth picking up. I just think, this is kind of following in the trend of, developers / publishers continuing to put out games on the Switch with a little bit of a Switch tax. Like this game's coming out at $30 and originally was a retail release for $20. And also it doesn't have all the director's cut content. And it's not like they did a bunch of up-resing and remastering of the game. And that's always just something that, it wasn't just that. It was like Resident Evil 0, Resident Evil 4 all came out at $30 a piece, probably $10 too high. I think if this was $20, they would reach a much bigger audience, which would help fuel, the potential audience for the sequel that they're putting together. And it's just unfortunate because there's so many games that I'm seeing on the shop that I would totally buy, but they're just not at that impulse range, like Grandia 1 and 2, like $40 for those games, which also don't have a ton of visual improvements and might not be the best versions of them. Saints Row 3 was $40, and Turok for $20 in 2019. Turok 1 and 2, $20 a piece is quite a lot to ask, even with some work done to them, just because they're dated games. But I don't know. That bums me out because I'd love to buy Deadly Premonition, but I'm gonna have to wait like I did for Resident Evil 4. I waited till that was $20 because I was on the fence. And I would have, after playing Resident Evil 4 for the first time, I would have paid $30. But I think they're just asking a lot more compared to what the price of these games are on other consoles like PlayStation 4, Xbox One, PC, etc.
Yeah, and you can add them to your wish list, and Nintendo now emails you when something on your wish list goes on sale.
That is great, and it's not like there is a lack of games to play right now.
Absolutely,
like I can totally 100% wait. It's just like one of those things where I may, as an impulse purchase, it would, $20 seems to be about right, like $30, especially for that game. I would not recommend anyone buy that game for $30, especially if you don't know exactly what you're getting into.
Right. Right.
Because you'll play 10 minutes and hate it.
So Doom 64, rumored since E3, really, because there was a Australian ratings board entry for this, and I believe it was a Larrabee lock.
It was rumored way before that too. I think this is a game that people probably have fonder memories of, but I don't think it will hold up to their memories. And also it looks like they're not doing a ton of work. It looks like they just really bumped up the brightness. I don't know if you guys saw the video in the Direct, but Doom 64 is a very dark game, and it was not very dark in the stuff that they showed in that video, but it's still a very unique game, and it's just cool that publishers are able to figure this stuff out. It was a licensing mess. That's why we hadn't seen it in years and years and years. But Doom 64 is a cool, underrated game for those of us that didn't have a PC and only had a Nintendo 64, and that's how we played classics like Forsaken and Quake and
Hexen
64. Absolutely.
You and Hexen, man.
That's the game that helped launch my career.
Okay,
there you go.
Doing a review of that game.
Yeah.
And I like Hexen. What do you want?
I'm surprised they're not getting it out before Halloween. I figured that would be a really good October game.
Yeah, it would have been a great October game.
Until November.
Well, and plus the window, does the new Doom comes out in November as well, right?
Correct. It's going to be a Doom heavy month. And also they still have not updated those games with the myriad of issues that are on Doom 1 and 2 for the Switch right now. You still have that login bug.
No, they
Still
took that out. They did patch that.
Well, they
It is
patched
out.
that out. It still has the sound issues and it still has the aspect ratio issues, which I mean, it's like one of those things where how does this leave the door?
Mhm.
Come on, guys, we can do better.
Yeah. Assassin's Creed, the Rebel Collection, collects up Black Flag and Assassin's Creed Rogue, which the Rogue was a post PlayStation 4, Xbox One release on the previous generation. So
Mhm.
I actually missed Rogue, and I heard that it was really, really good. And I've been waiting for like a re-release of it. And I think it's actually out for PS4
And Xbox One, I think it's
and
on Game
Xbox One,
Pass.
but I still haven't played it. But
wasn't on the Switch.
Now that it comes to Switch, maybe I'll play it. No, I love Black Flag so much, and I've heard Rogue is like a similar kind of piratey
Totally, it
Assassin's
is.
Creed.
Looked like it.
So I'm into it. Maybe I'll pick that up.
It's
when it comes out
very
in
good.
summer.
It has some of the most likable characters ever in that franchise. Highly
Yeah.
recommended.
And then we got a weird announcement of Star Wars Jedi Knight 2 Jedi Outcast. And this is the single player mode of it only. None of the multiplayer.
Were they just shopping around all the licenses to these old Star Wars games? Because I mean, like, we're also in the throes of limited run releasing physical versions of like every Star Wars game under the sun.
Yeah,
Well, actually, every LucasArts
Maybe
game. So, like, is that? I'm wondering if it's all part of like the same.
But then where's
deal.
X-Wing versus TIE Fighter?
Well, I don't know. I'm just saying
Some of those games, right?
those would be great.
That would be great.
Kind of need a keyboard for those, though.
Yeah, you kind of do.
Yeah.
But I mean, they're releasing PC versions of some of the other LucasArts games, so could be.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Follows. I don't know.
Plus, we got a sizzle reel with some other games coming out. Dauntless, I'm very excited about that. You got a couple games from Focus Home Interactive, Call of Cthulhu and Vampire, which makes me wonder where Plague Tale Innocence is. The Outer Worlds coming from Private Division, looks awesome, but I wonder when that Switch version is coming out, because
What's the frame rate going to be? Like, again, that's
definitely
like one of those games that I got to see.
Yeah, definitely going to be playing it on Game Pass this fall.
Yeah.
But and then they showed off Little Town Hero, which was previous just known as Town from Game Freak, and looks a little different from the last time they showed it. And the big announcement here is that Toby Fox is doing the music for it. So
It looks interesting.
It looks interesting. I think I'm gonna wait on reviews. Looks interesting. The battle, I didn't quite get what was going on in the battle system, but and then a bunch of Smash Brothers announcements. So the reveal of the new character last week, we sort of hinted on the podcast that it leaked. It was some SNK character, and they had a Smash reveal video with the Smash envelope kind of going around a bunch of different SNK.
Yeah, that was great.
Which was awesome. Many of the characters that we mentioned last week.
I didn't see any Cyberlips, but
no Cyberlip, but Nakaruru and all the fun SNK characters, and then Terry Bogard,
which was like the most obvious choice,
obvious
in the history of obvious choices. But
could it have been anything else? No. But yeah, and then they showed off some more Banjo-Kazooie and Sakurai doing a demo of all the different moves in the stage for that.
So was there
which dropped on the day of the direct?
So was there seriously? I heard that there were a contingent. There was a contingent of people on the internet who thought that Terry Bogard was like an adult version of the trainer from Pokemon.
Are you?
I'm totally serious.
If you look at the artwork of both characters,
they're similar
next to each other. They are pretty similar looking.
Eerily similar.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, a lot of kids who play Smash would have
don't
no
remember
idea.
Terry Bogard. No.
Well, they don't.
No,
it's not that they don't remember him; it's that they have never experienced that character.
Yeah,
they don't know who that character is. Yeah.
No.
So. Yeah, it's pretty funny.
And then so, didn't one of the characters from what was the other character that
Undertale?
Was, yeah, Undertale.
But
is he new as well?
Yeah.
It's not a character. It is a Mii outfit. During the post direct Smash Fest, they announced there were a few new Mii costumes, like Mii fighter costumes that you could purchase, including what was it? There was a Proto Man from Mega Man.
Ooh.
There was Zero from Mega Man X. There's Team Rocket outfits. There's
Goemon.
For my money, for my 75 cents, the real prize there is, of course, yes, Goemon from the Ganbare Goemon or the Mystical Ninja series. But then, they announced costumes of Sans, the little pudgy skeleton dude.
So they didn't make a big deal out of any of that during the actual direct, though, right? It was all pretty much afterward.
Yeah,
which was why I was confused, considering that they made such a big deal about who was doing the music in town.
Right.
Then that Sans kept popping up, and I'm like, well, why aren't they saying anything about? But I didn't realize it wasn't a new character.
Right.
No,
it's so.
Yeah, and in that bit after the direct with Sakurai playing Banjo as the character, he mentioned Xbox.
Oh yeah.
If you want to play the original Banjo-Kazooie, go buy it on Xbox One. Play it on Xbox One, which is kind of interesting to hear.
There you go.
Or play the Switch version that'll be out next year.
Well, I mean, are they doing that? That would be good, I guess.
And they also announced during the direct, because they announced Terry is the next fighter from the Fighters Pass, which leaves, I believe, one more slot to be filled. But then they announced that there's going to be more fighters in the future.
That's right. Great. Yeah, they're doing even more up above the Fighters Pass, and details on that will be announced later.
Yeah.
So that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. They also announced Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition wrapped up the direct.
Is anyone here a Xenoblade fan?
I played through, most of the way through Xenoblade Chronicles 2 on the Switch.
I loved the setting of that game, but I never really got into it.
Yeah. I'm sure they're wonderful games, but I just don't have the time.
Yeah. With an RPG, it's hard to find the time.
I think for me, it's more a difficulty with the combat system, how it's like a passive. It's the same thing. It's the same reason why I can't play Final Fantasy 12. It's because you're just standing there and things are happening. Where I like to select actual actions or, hit buttons for things to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So
right.
Unfortunately for me, like I tried on the Wii and the 3DS, but there's plenty of other great RPGs right now. Like
so many.
Quest 11.
Dragon Quest 11, exactly. All right.
Did you know?
Yeah.
CJ.
Yeah. Huh?
So I know you don't give two poops about Smash Brothers, but I know you do like the Dragon Quest.
Yeah.
Did you know if you have played the Dragon Quest 11 demo or the full version, and then you play Smash Brothers, it unlocks a spirit. It unlocks a special
really?
Dragon Quest themed spirit in your Smash game.
That's cool.
So there's a little Smash trivia for you tonight.
Little tidbit there.
Yes.
So there's another Nintendo thing that dropped last week. They showed off a YouTube teaser for a new experience for Nintendo Switch, and the video has it doesn't show any games on a TV or a system, but it does show people interacting with a sort of hoop device that and
you guys know what that is, right?
And you put Joy-Cons in it, and it senses movement and such. So
that is a yoga ring. So that is something that I've used for years. Yeah, we use them a lot with hockey players because it is something that we would use to strengthen the adductors, which are the muscles on the inside of your legs. So it's a useful tool too, because you can do upper body exercises with it too. I wouldn't recommend it, but what I am guessing is that Nintendo, that is going to be one piece in a multi-piece set of equipment that will be included in whatever this fitness package will be for Nintendo, but it's very commonly used in yoga and Pilates, which is again where it would be aimed, towards a more general audience, especially women. Would be my guess. Like I think moms definitely picked up on Wii Fit. Men did as well, moms and women and men. But I think it was definitely one of those things that made people excited, because it's like, oh yeah, like moms would be like, there's this thing in the house. And again, I don't mean to generalize, but like, that was kind of one of the things that made the Wii such a success, is that pretty much everyone in the house had something they would use the Wii for. And lots. And like when Wii Fit was on like Oprah and stuff, it exploded.
Totally.
That would be my guess, that they're kind of aiming for that crowd, that non-hardcore gamer, but people that might have a Switch in the house because the kids have it. And, parents can use it to exercise too.
Yeah, they showed it off being used, both with the legs and with the upper body. And
which again is not a great way to use that piece of equipment. Would I recommend it, because it's not built for upper body exercise, really. It's mostly made for lower body stuff and like activation of certain muscles.
Sure. Looks interesting though. Nintendo does the Wii Fit stuff and the Wii Sports Club stuff. I definitely wish Wii Sports would come back. I really enjoyed the bowling. Maybe they'll do something along with this, but Nintendo doing this sort of innovative, sort of wacky stuff that you can do with the Joy-Cons is always appreciated. Like I love weird Nintendo. Like when they do this sort of odd stuff, it's always
weird Tendo.
Weird Tendo. Yeah.
I think this is mostly going to be a yoga product. I don't think it's going to be Wii Fitness or Switch Fitness. I think it's going to be.
But they do show it being used in like a party situation.
Oh, I did not watch the whole video. I just
like the video. The video has groups of people.
CJ, you never been to a yoga party?
Yoga party where one person does yoga in front of
everyone else, like stands around and does what they need to do.
Sounds like a work site.
Yeah.
No, I haven't been. Yeah.
And the Switch does not. It does have Bluetooth built in, so theoretically, it could actually work with certain heart rate sensors, like Polar heart rate monitors, and there's other brands of, pretty much every heart rate monitor that you buy that's not just set for a specific watch, it's Bluetooth, so it can connect with your phone. So maybe they will partner up with a heart rate, monitoring manufacturer as well. That would be the smart move if they can make that happen. Or maybe they have their own Nintendo heart rate monitor, like carry over that vitality sensor.
I was going to say the vitality sensor.
Vitality sensor.
Bring it over, and the Nintendo Switch heart rate monitor.
Yeah.
Because you wouldn't want it on your finger. You would want it on your chest.
There you go. So I think that means we should get,
since we've been talking about the Nintendo Direct for an hour,
50 minutes into the show. There was that was a dense Nintendo Direct.
Hey, I'm not arguing.
Yeah. And
you can talk about Witcher 3.
I mean, yeah, sure.
Just go.
Don't give me any ideas.
Kevin, since you are our guest today, why don't you go first with what you've been playing?
We should probably talk about the big release first. Gears 5. Gears 5, another game in the Gears of War franchise. And
now it's not. This is the Ultimate Edition that came out this past week. It's like if you bought the Ultimate Edition or if you have Game Pass Ultimate. Otherwise,
I guess I have Game Pass Ultimate.
Otherwise, it comes out this coming week.
Well, sorry for the those folks, but I am playing it.
This is a confusing conversation.
Yeah,
it is. It is extremely good. It is very, very good. Every couple of years, it's nice to play a Gears game. You know what you're kind of getting into. They have done some updates to the formula. They've definitely made significant improvements in the character development and the story of the game. It's not Uncharted, don't get me wrong, but there are some stakes that you might care about. The voice acting is very good. I think the best thing I can say about it is that I don't really care that Marcus Phoenix isn't really with you much. He's mostly the guy that's on the radio telling you what to do. You are with the younger crew, and some crazy stuff goes down in the first hour or two that makes you really interested in what's going to happen next. Some stuff happens to those characters and they do a nice little time jump, which just kind of pushes the story forward. But it is a hell of a good looking game. If you have an Xbox One X, or if you have a PC that, you know, has a decent video card, it is in the running for the best looking video game currently available. You know, playing that on my Xbox One X and again on an OLED is very, very nice. It is a reason in itself to play that game, because I think, you know, we all remember Gears 1 and 2, specifically 3 changed things up a little bit with the environments, but they were very dirty, like brown and red games. Basically, you had blood and you had a bunch of brown backgrounds and, you know, torn down environments and stuff. Where this, you're in jungle areas, you're going into you know, a snowy area. It's very much like, you know, you would see in kind of an Uncharted game.
I love snowy areas in video games.
It is.
Me too.
They always make fantastic looking settings.
It looks very, very good. And one of the cool tricks that it seems that they're doing is there are some open world pieces of the game that have kind of, it's an open world area, which I think some folks are giving it flack for, like, hey man, there isn't a bunch of collectibles and things to do. There's a bunch of side quests. It's like, you know, this isn't Oblivion. This is still Gears. You're basically in an open world setting and you are getting pieces of the story as you are using this kind of, I think it's a skiff or whatever they're calling it, that you use to transport you and your partner to different areas. And then it kind of breaks up into individual sections. And then it will then give you have completed this section. You don't need to go back to it. You've kind of done all you need to do. And I think it's one of my favorite games of this year so far. And I just finished Act 2 and I just can't wait to go back and play some more. I think I really, it's one of those games that I also am really bummed out if our viewers have to play it with a time crunch, because I really like playing it in like 30-minute chunks, because it is Gears. It's still kind of a repetitive setup where you're one difference that they do have is that the enemies don't just kind of spawn and walk in through a door once you get to an area. They're actually already there, which is makes it more fascinating. There are some incredibly awesome, gigantic boss battles. There are some downsides. One of them being there's some escorty type things. Like I had an escort, this thing of explosives through this area, and then you're dealing with tons of enemies and things can go wrong really quickly. So there, you know, maybe were 2 or 3 frustrating moments of the, let's say maybe it seems really long. I think I played like 5 hours of it and I just finished Act 2. Like it seems, yeah, I guess it was Act 2. And I think they're usually 5-act games. And
wow.
I believe I'm blanking on the name of the gentleman that is the head of the studio.
Rod Ferguson.
Thank you, Rod Ferguson. I think he said it was by far the longest Gears campaign ever, which, yeah, I mean, it checks out so far, unless those future acts are dramatically shorter. But I would say the last thing I would say is it's kind of crazy that you can get this on Game Pass. Like,
yeah.
If this is the future going forward, and I think Game Pass is still, it is again one of the best things about competition is that Microsoft is behind right now, and they're doing some really crazy stuff to figure out how to take that leap into the next generation. In Game Pass, the fact that I, just woke up I guess it released at 9:00, but I didn't play it at night, and I woke up the next day, and it's just sitting on my console, and this is their big game for the year.
Yep.
And it's relatively cheap. Like Game Pass is $2 right now for a 30-day trial. Like if you want to pay $2 and play through Gears 5 and then just cancel it, you can totally do it. But it's just delivering. It might be the best Gears game of the series, and I'm really appreciating the way that they are bringing the franchise forward. But it's still in its roots. It's still Gears. You're still going behind cover. You're still using a lot of the same guns. You're using chainsaws to cut dudes up in half, and it's still like a cool, fun, badass ride, and it's much lighter humor than in previous games too, which I definitely appreciate.
I didn't get to play much of it. I played through the tutorial. One of the things I really like about Gears 5, and not enough games do this in my opinion, but it allows you to censor the language and also take out the gore.
All the
And
settings, and you brought up a great point.
Great.
So
a
from
lot
the
of great
start,
settings.
from the start, and again, I think this is where Microsoft is really, stepping up, where we saw it with the accessibility controller, and which is front and center in the settings of those games. It says
has
it
been,
right
yeah.
at the start.
Hmm.
It says, "Are you going to be using the accessibility controller?"
Yep.
And also, it gives you, like you said, blood, gore, language, subtitles. It gives you all these options. So pretty much no
great.
matter what household
Which-
you're playing in, you can have fun with this game.
Right, which I think is accessibility as well. I mean,
Yes.
in a different way, obviously,
Absolutely,
but
you're
it's
absolutely
for
right.
exactly that reason. Like,
Colorblind options as well.
yep, for exactly that reason. Like, if you're, I mean, I know my place is pretty small, and my TV faces down the hallway, so there's no way I can play something and my kids won't see it
Or
Yeah.
hear
if
it.
I happen to be playing it or hear it. But I can put headphones in. So being able to turn that stuff off is supremely important. I mean, it just makes it that much more playable for someone like me.
Sounds an awful lot like censorship, man.
Yeah, well, and that's, I think it's interesting too. And Kevin, I want to go back to what you were saying as far as Microsoft, because Microsoft has really grabbed onto this with both hands, and that the accessibility controller, I love that they've made such a big deal about that thing for the past couple of years, and that they constantly call back to it, and they constantly point it out in their games, because being someone who works in the software industry, I don't think people realize how important that has become in general. Like, it's the holy grail right now. Where I work, we make a lot of software for children, and it's a huge aspect of what we do. Color blindness as well, like you said. So they're
the
way
fact,
ahead of the
like,
curve
they-
on it. They're way
yeah,
ahead of the curve on
I
it.
mean, just the fact that they do so much work with able gamers, and and it's one of those things where I would be shocked if anyone would say they're just doing this for, they're obviously not doing it for money. Think about how much R&D they put into that
Yeah.
controller.
That'd be
But
a super
also,
cynical way to look at it.
Yeah.
totally. But what I'm saying is that you feel really good. It's not necessarily a bad thing to feel really good about your purchase when you see stuff like this. Like, I'm totally like, it does. It makes me feel better that I am giving them money, because they are helping kids that and people that might otherwise feel left out.
Absolutely.
Which is
Yes.
kind of the biggest thing that you can do for a company is not make people feel like they're excluded.
Yep, absolutely.
So it's a very good game. Anyways, aside from that, Dragon Quest 11. I've been playing through that demo, and I'm about 5 hours in, and I ended up purchasing it digitally. I have very few digital purchase games. I'm still a physical person, but I really think that is a game that I'm going to be playing for the next year. It seems like it's a 100-hour game, and I mean, you guys have talked about it, but I think one of the best things about waiting sometimes, you get these definitive editions, like the fact that you have super fast battles, which I have on immediately. You can sprint everywhere. You can basically fly through this game, or you can take the slow road. But I really like the characters. The music is, composed by a terrible person, but the music is very good. And I think I think this might be my game of the year if it continues to go down the road. Like, I think the story is not necessarily something super brand new, but it just it ticks off all the boxes. They're not making it a pain in the ass to play the game. They're basically just like pointing you in a direction and go, which again is why I like games like Gears, where I am working 60 hours a week right now. When I do have time to play games, I don't want to have to search for shit. I just want to
make
plop me down,
progress.
show me where the marker is, tell me to go that way, and if anything gets in my way, I'll take care of it. Okay. And again, I think that is a really good sign for these RPG developers that seem to get stuck in their old ways from time to time. Dragon Quest 11, I think, is just going to be, it might be my game of the year, and I'm very excited to play more of it.
Also, I don't think it can be overstated how important it is when you're doing a demo of an RPG to be able to transfer progress over to the full game and have the demo start at the beginning of the game. Like, even though the Dragon Quest XI demo does not allow you to go into the 2D mode, it lets you play the beginning of the game and transfer your progress, and I think that is absolutely
There's a ton of game.
Fantastic.
There's so much game in there too, so you definitely get like into the story. You know who the main characters are, and just the things that I've heard. I'm so happy that I didn't play this on PS4 because the other surprising thing is it runs friggin' great.
It does run
Nintendo Switch.
really well.
It looks, and again, it's like I'll bring up my TV. Like usually things look really good in handheld mode. But the game looks damn good hooked up to a TV, like even like a nice 4K TV. Like the game looks great. It runs great. And I don't miss like my PlayStation 4 version of it for that at all.
Huh.
Yeah.
And then probably the last thing I will mention is Hotline Miami 1 and 2 came out on Switch again. And I played through all of 1 and I'm playing through all of 2 right now. And those are still 2 of the best games of the previous generation. And it's nice to have those on Switch. Great soundtracks. You should all play those games. Really violent games for me this week. But Astral Chain is a game that unfortunately came just 2 days before Gears 5 came out. It has been shelved, but I played through the first 2 hours, like through the tutorial, and got into the kind of like the I guess the routine of the game. And it's kind of a weird game. I like it. I like the visual aesthetics quite a bit. I don't know if it's going to hook me. I thought I was really going to like this game. But Phil, I know you've been playing it as well. You probably have some different thoughts on this.
Yeah. You want to go into what you've been playing there, Phil?
Nah.
Okay.
Oh, you really don't? Okay. And also, we talked about Super Nintendo stuff on Switch, which is okay, but they need to give us better games and more diverse games instead of everything that starts with super something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Astral, hold on.
Astro Chain.
Astral
Train.
Because I've pointed I think I probably have pointed it out on this show, and I've certainly pointed it out on Twitter. I'm a big Transformers nerd.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever I try to say the name of this game, it always comes out as Astro Train, which is the name of one of the Decepticon triple changers who turned from a fierce Decepticon warrior into a space shuttle and then into a train engine.
Nerd.
Astro Train. And see, now I'm getting them all confused.
Astral
Chain is not the fellow who needed to jettison some weight or else they would never make it to Cybertron. Astral Chain is the new Platinum Games video game available now for the Nintendo Switch Entertainment System.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one I've been playing. I've also been playing with my Astro Train toys
at the same time,
but that has nothing to do with this.
Okay.
So
thanks for clearing that up.
Astral Chain is pretty. Now, see, and this is the problem because I'm on this show with our lovely guest Kevin, who's wonderful, and 2 goons who just don't like Platinum games.
Oh, that's right.
I liked the Transformers game.
I liked Transformers. I have never liked another.
I've been trying to play. Never mind. Go ahead.
Oh no, they didn't play through Nier Automata. That is like the best game of last year.
To be fair, I haven't played through Nier Automata either, so I know. Hey, you know what?
Look so who's good. A poser.
You know what, buddy?
That game is. It might have been my game of the year last year.
Oh, well, there you go.
Oh, so good.
Maybe buy it for me
on Switch someday. So it will sit on your shelf.
Yeah, no, I'll play it. What am I, CJ?
Don't you guys have Patreon money?
Hey, I finished a game this week.
If we could use our Patreon money to buy some time, that would be fantastic.
Yeah, it's like almost 10 o'clock here. I got a gym in the morning.
So Astral Chain.
Yeah.
I admittedly am not super far into it myself. I played through the little opening bits, the tutorial bit. Then it dumps you into the police station because you're a cop in this game. What
did you think of your dad?
Oh,
Your dad?
he's your anime dad. You know,
Such an anime dad. That's such a great way to put it.
Yeah, he's an anime dad. I'll tell you what. I want to. If I'm traveling back in time, I'm not going to save JFK, especially if I'm
going to the wrong year.
Especially if I'm a year too late to do it. But what I'm going to do, I want to travel back to like 1986 and head over to Japan and convince someone to do an Astral Chain anime. Because I would love to see an Astral Chain anime series done in the style of Bubblegum Crisis-ish anime, because it would be beautiful. I love the look of that game. The aesthetics are stunning.
Great looking game.
Yeah. And so you do the little intro bit, and you get your little interdimensional monster that you got strapped to your wrist.
Yeah.
And then they dump you into the police station, and you go around and talk to people in the police station. You do a little training, and then they send you off for your first mission. And now, see, I had not been really following this game super closely, other than, hey, Platinum is doing a new Switch game, therefore I'm going to want it. So I just kind of assumed that it was going to be more Bayonetta style, hacky slashy, shooty. But there's an investigative element to this game. You actually, you go around gathering clues. You're at a crime scene,
like Batman Detective Vision kind of.
Yeah. You bring up the little whatever I forget what their term for it, but it is like detective mode. And you highlight and investigate clues, and then you go talk to someone. And there's, so what did you notice about the debris on the streets? And then you say, oh, there was a giant monster handprint on the ground. Oh, you noticed that, did you? Well, I think it might be a giant monster, that sort of thing. And then in between your investigations, a bunch of monsters show up, and then you slashy, shooty,
solve the crime.
And then you end up fighting a giant, weird-looking monster.
I've solved the case.
And you solve the case. Luckily, the case involved heavy use of having some sort of interdimensional monster chained to your wrist that you can control. And it's cool because, you're running around and you're beating stuff up with your nightstick and you're shooting stuff with your guns. But at the same time, you're also throwing this monster out at your foes, and it'll just kind of attack stuff randomly. But then you can sort of guide it where you need it to go. You can take control of it and have it loop around enemies, which will chain them in place, so you can start delivering a bunch of attacks while they're incapacitated. And it's really fun. And I played through the whole first case. Took maybe about an hour or so but it's good. I'm having fun with it. So
cool.
I'm looking forward to going back to it when things calm down, but things are just not going to calm down until
no, they are not
until March of next year.
Well, that's the problem
then
too.
March is Animal Crossing.
I don't like Animal Crossing.
Oh,
well, there you go.
Dun.
Kevin. That's a boring game that no one should play.
Wow.
CJ's like, Bayonetta is not exciting enough for me. But
Animal Crossing, yeah.
You're telling me I get to pick weeds?
Catch some chubs. go get your new cell phone. Sure. I tried playing Animal Crossing at least on 3 different systems, and I was just like, wow, I can't do anything else today. Then I just never went back to it.
Yeah. But I'm having a blast with Astral Chain. But I hope I can get a couple more missions done before Zelda comes out, because that's going to end up taking all my time.
Absolutely.
And I started up Yakuza 3.
Yes.
the PS4 because I love the Yakuza games and I never finished 3. So I'm really
3's awesome.
And
It
you'll
really
still not
is.
finish
Three's-
3.
well, I mean
Probably.
that's a long game, dude.
Well, yeah, well,
3
yeah.
is so good.
It really is. Oh my goodness. So much fun, and yeah, they put the Hostess Club stuff back in
Yes,
this
they
new
did.
release.
You've been
Yeah.
blogging on your cell phone?
No, I haven't been. No,
Oh, you're
you
not
can
there
do-
yet?
No, that's a thing you can do.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Wait, am I thinking I might be mixing up? Is 3 with the orphanage?
Yes.
Yeah, you will get at
Oh,
all
okay.
points when he pulls out his phone to
Yeah.
blog. It is the best animation. You probably have seen it.
Oh, the super dramatic
he flips in the trajectory like super fast, and it's like, oh my god! Again, the Yakuza series, my PlayStation 4 has now turned into the Yakuza station. Like,
Yeah.
it is only for Yakuza games. That's the only thing I played on them, really, since Nier.
Yeah.
And oh my god, I'm just so happy that these remasters are coming out. I'm pretty much waiting for 5 because I played through 4. and
Oh, okay.
I have to wait for 5 because I still have 6. I haven't
Oh,
played
okay.
it
Yeah.
yet, because every time I think about playing 5 and hooking my PlayStation 3 back up, I'm like, it's coming in a year, and I have other stuff to play right now. I'll just wait.
Well, 5 should be hitting in February. So
yeah, it's not too
yeah.
long of a wait.
No.
But oh my god, and then there's 6, and then 7 is going to be
the
turn-based game
crazy
now.
RPG.
And I still
Why
have to play
not?
Judgment. I have Judgment.
Oh, really?
And it's just sitting on the shelf because because I feel like, oh man, did you play Judgment?
I have not.
Man, those guys they might be the most, I would say, as for a Japanese developer, they just keep putting out
Yeah, they do.
great games.
They are
just put
consistent.
they're
Very
consistent as
consistent.
hell.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm happy that playing that because 3 is probably the best after 0.
Yeah.
I would say from the ones that I played.
Well, if you like Shenmue but also like having fun,
It's so much better than
Yakuza.
Shenmue.
Well, I mean there's fun. They included fun in this one. So
there's
Now
so
with
much
fun.
good stuff to do in that game.
yeah. Oh my goodness. There's a lot going on right now.
All
So there's that. Been playing some Astro Train. I've been playing some Astro Train. As we mentioned earlier, I did download Super Kirby Clash for the
Free to
Switch,
start.
which is the free to start game. It is a boss rush.
And you can play
game.
multiplayer. So do you play with Finn?
Yep, played some with Finn.
Okay.
He's enjoying it too. I mean, it's just a pure boss fight after boss fight, and it's got a bunch of free to play trappings to it. You have like a vigor meter that deteriorates every time you fight a battle, so and it refills over time, and you earn different colored shards when you defeat bosses, and you earn apple gems, and you have to spend apple gems and shards to purchase new weapons and that sort of thing. And then the monetization comes in. You can buy the apple gems with real money.
Mm-hmm.
And the more you buy, there's a tree in your kind of hub world that the more money you spend, the bigger the tree gets, and then more apples fall off of it every day, which gives you more money, so you can do that sort of thing.
Sure.
Obviously, if you aren't in a big hurry, you can play through it for free and not have to worry about it. But if you want to power up faster, you can throw some money at it or whatever. But yeah, it's a cute little game. It is just fighting bosses. It did serve the purpose, at least in my household, of introducing Finn to Kirby, the character. I mean, he was already familiar with Kirby through Smash Brothers, but he's not actually played
Sure.
any of the real Kirby games. So he
I
was.
thought you were going to say microtransactions. I was going for that.
So yeah, he's way into
free to play gambling mechanic now.
Way into Clash of Clans now.
That's great.
Yeah.
On the way to becoming a whale.
I need your help, my lord. Scantily clad medieval ladies in whatever iPhone games are out there.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I popped in after we played a little bit of the Kirby Clash, and then he was like, "Oh, do you have any of the other Kirby games?" And I had what's the?
Yes, I do.
I absolutely do. What's the Switch one? It has a name. There's a title. Star Buddies. Star Allies. So I tossed that in, and he was hooked pretty immediately. So he's been playing that all afternoon.
Cool.
I also picked up the new Way Forward release this week. River City Girls.
Oh, right.
There you go.
Yes, River City Girls just came out. I did, to answer Greg's snarky tweet.
Wasn't snarky at all. I was trying to understand why you would do that.
Why wouldn't I?
Okay.
I wanted the physical version,
Mm-hmm.
but I also wanted to play it right now and have it accessible whenever I please. So yeah, I did purchase the game from Limited Run when they put that up. But yeah, that's not that Limited Run version. That's not going to show up for a month or two. I don't know.
How could anyone live at that speed?
So I bought it, and I've been playing through it. Well, not playing through it, but I've been playing some of it, and it's really good. Cool. I'm really liking it. I mean, you CJ and Greg, you guys played it at.
Yeah, we lived it, man.
We lived it.
It's true.
No, it was really good at PAX.
But yeah, it is. It's a
best
fun
Scott
game.
Pilgrim clone I've ever played.
Well, it has that classic 8-bit look.
Yeah,
that's
what I like about it.
I love.
Look. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It's tough though. It's not an easy game.
Yeah.
I played through the first stage, got to the boss, and immediately. Well, you know what? I can't say immediately.
Died.
I got the boss. I got her health down to about a third. Yeah, I had knocked out about 2/3 of her health, and then she started just going nuts and ended up killing me. And this is it's like River City Ransom. As you beat up dudes, you earn coins, which you will, of course, spend on upgrades for your stats. But when you die, you lose a decent chunk of your money. And then, I continued and I kept losing. And, I had like $100 that I had earned just going through that first level. And then I was down to like $30. And I was like, well, I can't do this. So I started over, played through the whole first level again. And then I just sort of ran around grinding to get my experience levels up. Because of course your stats go up as your levels go up, but you also unlock new moves to expand your repertoire of violence. And expand I did. And I was finally able to defeat her, and now I'm in kind of I'm outside the school, and the world is opened up, and there's branching pathways and stuff like that. So
cool.
I'm having a very good time.
At least you bring back the Way Forward joint Double Dragon Neon for current generation.
Oh, baby.
Oh, that's a good game.
It was totally a forgotten and underappreciated game.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
From what I've heard, there is maybe more than one character from Neon that shows up in this game. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Like maybe as a shop owner or something like that. So
because it's Technos. I mean, it's the same, which is all under Arc.
Arc System Works.
Arc Systems Works. So
it
owns all that stuff now. So
yeah. So yeah, I'm very much enjoying River City Girls so far. So
awesome.
Hooray for that.
Is there a Bobo in that from the Double Dragon movie?
From the movie?
Yeah, Bobo.
Bobo,
movie was great.
From the Robert Patrick movie?
starring Robert Patrick and the guy from Party of Five.
And Alyssa Milano.
Oh yeah, Alyssa
Yeah,
Milano was in
and
it too.
blonde and dyed blonde Alyssa Milano.
I
Bleached blonde.
believe that when you beat the game, you unlock Alyssa Milano as a playable character.
But the
She's-
charmed version, the charmed
Yeah.
character.
But it's like, it's like Mortal Kombat. It's like Pit Fighter, where it's a digitized version of her. They actually got her into the studio
Oh,
and
great.
photographed her doing all the different moves. So
I think that's not a bad movie. I think that
It's a pretty bad movie.
the Double Dragon movie.
I love it. I
Robert
absolutely
Patrick
love it.
punching
But it's
himself in the face
yeah.
after they dive into his body.
I've never actually seen it, so
I've never seen
Phil,
it either.
You
I
should see
can't-
it.
I
It's-
can't.
It's pretty good.
You would
That's-
appreciate it.
There's a fight scene where there is a Double Dragon arcade machine behind them, which is pretty awesome.
Well, of course.
Naturally.
The Rampage movie has a Rampage arcade machine in it.
Fantastic.
The villains have one in their office because
Oh yeah, I did hear about that. That's great.
yeah. But Abobo, just classic Abobo, is indeed in River City Girls.
Okay, but not the
Not
first
the-
name Bo.
No.
Last name Abobo. Okay.
No.
No, Bo Abobo is
To make
not.
it clear, no.
No, it's not
Thank
Bo
you.
Abobo. It's regular old Abobo.
Okay.
But yeah,
I
so
can't buy
I'm
it then.
well,
Boom.
well, start a start a petition.
Kickstarter.
Start it.
Yeah,
Start
we'll
an
do a
online.
Kickstarter.
Yeah,
Give Wayforward some money. We'll do. That will be a funny.
see what you can
goal.
do.
Get Scott
And-
Wolf. That's what was Scott Wolf.
Is that the guy?
Yeah, from Party of Five.
Oh, okay. And that's about all I've been playing. Earlier before the show, I expressed some excitement, and CJ was wondering what was up. What I was doing
Uh-huh.
was I was going through my collection of Game Boy games.
Uh-huh.
Holy
This is-
crap!
Well, this is 1/3 of it. This is 1/3 of my classic Game Boy collection.
Sure.
But I was flipping through here because when these two, well, I guess when this one was in town, because CJ's always in town now, even
But you
though
won't see him again for another
even though I
year.
never see him
Exactly.
because he doesn't bother contacting me.
Oh, wow.
But when we were going around to used game shops and such, I picked up Kicks on the Game Boy, the old Kicks. I spent a
Great
whopping $4 on this. I was not sure if I actually owned this game, but I
Yeah.
figured, well, if I'm
For
going to
$4.
buy it, if I'm out, I'm out $4. Turns out I don't have it.
there
So
you go.
so there was
Money well spent.
I have these games organized alphabetically, and in between my copy of Popeye 2 and my copy of Ren and Stimpy Space Cadet Adventures, I believe is the name of that one. There was no Kicks, but now there is.
Now there is.
So
Hmm.
suck on it, jerks.
Price is
All right
right.
what?
then. Wow.
Good
That was
version
really
of Kicks.
aggressive.
It's
Yeah.
true.
I used to have that game. Great version of Kicks.
Oh yeah,
Kicks
the
is
one-
a great game.
that's
Simple
the one
game.
that has Mario showing up in a sombrero in
Oh, yeah.
one of the bonus screens or
Seems
something like that.
topical.
There you go.
Cool.
That's it.
Well, I finished a game this week.
Oh my.
I know, right? So Dragon Quest Builders 2, I've been playing that with my daughter. She's been watching me play and loving that. And we got to the end earlier today.
Oh, look at
Finished
that.
it. Yeah. So after 50 hours of
Oh,
play,
my.
it's a long game. I finished it, and man, it's just really good. I think it's much better paced than the first Dragon Quest Builders game, and they introduce a lot of new mechanics even at the very end of the game. And in the trailers for this game, and I think it's even in the intro, they show the main characters like driving around in a vehicle that does not show up until like after 50 hours of play.
Oh,
when you
jeez.
build your first vehicle and you're like, oh, I guess that is in the game. It wasn't just in the trailers. But similarly to Lego City Undercover, the final act in this game is amazing.
Oh, really?
It introduces some new mechanics and is just really, really good. It has a fantastic finale.
Nice.
And my daughter was really into it. I was doing all of the reading the text bubbles, and of course, it's a Dragon Quest game, so it's very wordy. And
is it done in that hokey, like, thou dost enjoyeth
yes,
the digging, my lord?
it does. Yes,
Stuff?
there are a number of characters that do speak in the old-timey English accent, and it's written out, and it's hard to read that out loud.
There needs to be,
it's hard.
Talking about accessibility features, there should be an option in Dragon Quest games to turn that nonsense off.
Yeah, because I think my daughter would really have enjoyed playing it just herself, but those, like the accented dialogue that is typed out is just, or phonetically, just makes it impossible for her to really play it. But had a lot of fun with that. The ending of it is fantastic. I found it just a better game overall than the first game. Takes out a lot of the busy
That's weird.
work.
You don't usually see that in video game sequels.
I know, right? I know. You can go to different optional islands and do like a little scavenger hunt type thing that'll unlock unlimited amounts of certain resources. So like in the first game, you had to have wood or stone or marble or whatever it is to build certain things, and you can just unlock an unlimited supply of all that stuff.
Nice.
Which is fantastic. Really enjoyed it. Anyway, also played a little bit of Plants vs. Zombies, the Battle for Neighborville.
Curious about this one.
The Battle for Neighborville?
Neighborville.
That's like where you grew up.
Where I grew up. Right,
how exciting for you.
I know, right? Game form. No, so this is the new Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare game, basically. And the way that they are doing this is really interesting. So EA announced an early access program for it and released it on the same day last week. So it came out last week on all platforms, PS4, Xbox One, and PC, and for $39.99. So as an early access price. And then when the final version comes out in October, they're going to raise the price by $10, and it'll just run as a live service, I suppose, from that point onward. But the way they're doing it is in the early access period. It's a very short early access period when you think about just September to October, and then the 1.0 is out. They're adding content week to week. So right now there's like one multiplayer mode, and there's the plant side of the story mode in there, and each week there's going to be a new thing that they add to the game. So but so far I'm really enjoying it. I like the Garden Warfare games in general. So you pick a side and a type of character. So I'm a plant support character most often, and you have different powers. Sort of hero shootery, in a little bit of, you could call it that, I guess, in the multiplayer mode. But the PvE, like the single player quests they have going, are pretty interesting, although they are definitely the difficulty is tuned to be playing co-op, because playing solo is very difficult in a game like Plants vs. Zombies, which is, aimed at a younger crowd, for sure. But I'm really enjoying it. And I played some Super Nintendo on Switch. We talked about that before, and the intro to Gears 5, which apparently has like in the multiplayer mode, I can get a Sea of Thieves banner. So I'm very interested in at least playing some multiplayer. And it's on Game Pass, which means my entire Sea of Thieves crew can play it for free because we all have Game Pass. So that's fantastic. Anyway, that's all I've been playing. So Greg,
hi,
what do you got?
Man, oh man, I forget.
This has been a packed episode.
This has been a long episode.
So much stuff.
Really, I mean, I tried out Mario Super Picross. I think it's so that's of course Picross on the Super Nintendo. Never came here, but I think it was released on the Wii Virtual Console. Did you say that, Phil?
Not in the US.
Okay.
Only in Japan and Europe.
Okay. Anyway, so I grabbed the Japanese cartridge while we were at PAX. And I just tried it out very quickly. It's always interesting to check that stuff out, especially where Jupiter, like you said, Phil, is the developer of that one. Of course, having played tons of Jupiter Picross games, is still playing a Jupiter Picross game now, to kind of see where they started with it. And it's I'm so used to how it is now. I actually really had to adjust to just little things like some of the hints that they give you nowadays they didn't do then.
Oh yeah.
And because of the way the thing is set up, like they're very forgiving with I find in current like Jupiter Macross games, if you're say Xing out a chunk of grid places, but maybe it's surrounded by two pieces that you've already decided are supposed to be filled in. If you happen to run, like if you hold down a direction and hold down the X button and you run through the area that you've already filled in, it won't just automatically throw an X in there or cancel it out. You know what I mean? Like it's a little more forgiving with that. None of that existed on the Super Nintendo version. So it's real easy to kind of screw it up. And especially, of course, where you're playing it. I've always found this even playing the Switch versions, in that my TV, I don't notice input lag too much, but Picross is actually a game where I notice it a lot.
Oh, really? Huh?
Yeah, I overshoot very, very frequently when I play Picross on the TV. So anyway, not really much else to say about that. The only other thing that I'll say that I've been playing this week to kind of move things along here is I actually finished Detroit Become Human.
Nice.
Absolutely loved it. If you like David Cage games, obviously. If you don't like David Cage games, that's not going to change. This isn't going to change that. But I won't say too much about it outside of the fact that I really ended up loving it a lot. And that we are going to be doing a spoiler cast. I believe Mike Phillips was setting it up along with, I think, Rich Grisham and hopefully Pete Dodd as well. So hopefully we'll be doing that in the near future. Because like any other David Cage game, I think we all got drastically different endings and drastically different stories. So I'll be interested to hear what happened to them, and of course talk about what I saw. One other thing that I did want to mention though before we get into tweets and before we get to the end of the episode is that I'm doing an Extra Life marathon this coming weekend, September 14th. Saturday, 9:30 a.m. Eastern. I'll be doing 12 hours of viewer or donor requests. So I stream 3 nights a week generally, and anyone who donates to Extra Life, I ask them to pick a game for me to play on a future. Every Thursday night I play donor requests. Of course, because people are so friggin' generous, my donor request list has gotten to the point that if I was only to do them like one a week, we're well into 2021 at this point.
Oh, jeez.
So it's kind of ridiculous to ask somebody to request a game and I won't play it for a year and a half. So decided that like I do a few of these sort of 12-hour mini marathons every year anyway. So I'm going to knock out 12 of them at least this weekend, which doesn't get us that much closer, but at least it gets, 12 of them done. And I've kind of been doing it on the $1,000 threshold for donations every year. So this will be the second one because I'm over 2,000 now. Although I assume that if it goes the way it has been going, we'll be over 3,000 by the end of this coming marathon, which means I'll be hopefully scheduling another one fairly quickly, especially before hockey season starts for my kids, so I don't have my weekends completely taken up. So anyway, just calling that out, twitch.tv/Seward, 9:30 a.m. Eastern. For 12 hours, I'll be playing donor request games. And let me just go find the list here real quick, which will include Corpse Killer for Sega CD, Popful Mail for Sega CD, Echo the Dolphin Sega CD. Phil requested Aladdin on the Genesis, Lunar the Silver Star Story for PlayStation, Silent Hill for PlayStation, Apex for Xbox, Sunset Overdrive for Xbox One, and then on the PlayStation 4, Persona 5 and Night Trap, and on the Switch, Golf Story. And then we're going to end with an hour or more, however much I feel like it, playing Mario Kart 8 and playing that with viewers. So, please come by. Please come by and open your wallet and donate to an amazing cause. And hey, request a game, and in a year and a half, I'll play that too. Or less. Anyway, that's my commercial.
Okay. I guess that means it's time for tweets.
Time for one tweet. Let's do it.
At least one tweet.
Let's do this one from Aurelius the Parmaster, who says, in Picross, do you complete each puzzle with no mistakes to get the little star? I restart as soon as I make a mistake, which means each game takes me months to complete.
I don't do that.
No, I don't care about that.
Okay.
Although I will, if I make like say like 3 mistakes, I will restart.
Oh yeah. If I make a mistake and do not catch it and it sort of snowballs into
Yeah.
a completely messed up image that I finally realize, oh, I messed something up a couple
And I
minutes
really
ago.
don't know how to fix this.
Yeah, then I'll restart. But yeah, I got too much crap to play to sit there and try and be a perfectionist.
All right. Let's do this one from Hacker Alias, the Defective Ram, who says, favorite and obscure SNES game you want to see on the Switch Online?
Race driving.
Soul Blazer and Terra
I'm just kidding. Yeah, Terra Enigma is a great one.
Huh. Obscure?
Back to the
Isn't
Future
there-
2 Japanese release.
Oh,
You do not
Super-
need to know.
Super Back to the Future 2? Yep.
There you go.
Isn't there a second Goemon game for Super
There are-
Nintendo that never
There
came
are
here?
a couple.
There
Oh, are they
are
really?
there are 4 main series Goemon games. We got the
Oh my
first
God.
one. We
I
did
didn't
not
realize there
get
were that many.
we did not get Goemon 2, 3, or 4. There is also a spin-off kind of action puzzle game starring Ebsamaru, the little sidekick character that
Okay.
never came out here as well. So the Ebsamaru game is kind of whatever, but I would love to see all 4 of the mainline Goemon games show up. Because
That'd be cool.
those games are they're a blast.
Yeah, I'd love to see them show up too, just because it'd be nice to have them there, and I've never played any of them, so it'd be a completely new experience.
You've never even played Legend of the Mystical Ninja, huh?
No, I played the first one. That's what I'm saying. The other 3 though, the ones that didn't show
gotcha.
up here.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to
Let's
say
see those
Space
competition cards,
Megaforce.
Sorry.
What? Who?
Space
Huh?
Megaforce.
Space Megaforce is great.
That's just an Alesta game,
Great
right?
shooter. It's just an Alesta game,
Yeah.
but it was
Sorry, I
great
didn't mean to
shooter
make
for
that
the
sound
Super
like it
Nintendo.
wouldn't be good. Just saying, it's Alesta games are great.
Not a whole lot of people played it, and it's a
No.
really good game.
What did Kevin say?
Competition carts, like it
Oh.
would be really cool if they put out
Yeah, that'd be
Donkey
neat.
Kong Country, Star Fox, and also the stuff
Yeah.
that they did for the Nintendo World Championships. They did one of those for the Super Nintendo as well.
That would be
That'd be
outstanding.
cool. Super Mario All Stars. Not an
Yeah, it's
obscure
pretty
game,
obscure.
but-
Jeez, yeah.
I'd like to see it.
You're gonna have to
Super Mario
explain
World.
to
with
people.
Super Mario World. Yeah,
Well, yeah, I mean, you want to get the right one.
Of
The one with
course,
Super
I
Mario
mean,
World.
duh.
It's not like that's already on the service or anything.
It'd be
Yeah.
cool to see like Final Fight Guy show up.
You mean Gee?
No.
But
That
Final
was
Fight's
a
not good.
Blockbuster.
I'm not.
exclusive, wasn't it?
Huh? That will only because it's a Blockbuster exclusive. Yes. In
Adding
the
another character into Final Fight for Super Nintendo does not make
Here's
it
another disappointing version of Final Fight for you.
yes, exactly. But
Do the Sega CD Final Fight.
There you go.
it's a relatively obscure game that would be neat to have
Ninja
on there.
Gaiden trilogy and fix the input lag.
Ah,
There you go.
that would be nice.
All right. Let's wrap it up with this one from Hacker Alias Uno Il Nino, who says, I need another Larrabee lock of some sort. I don't care what it's about. Just give me one. Also, how awesome would it be to see Mortal Kombat and Smash? We could finally get those old EGM cover arts to come to life. Street Fighter versus Mortal Kombat.
I think that was in GamePro's April issue of 1996.
Yeah. I mean, who knows? It could happen. Could happen.
Oh man.
Who would it be, though? It'd be Scorpion, right? I mean, come on.
Or
Johnny
Sub-Zero,
Cage.
or both. That'd be one of the masked ninjas.
Yeah,
Probably.
for sure.
Probably. Yeah.
Ripping
Larrabee
out
lock.
Mario's spine.
Are we getting a Larrabee lock?
Oh yeah, nothing really. Again, these locks usually come from lots of educated guesses with some insight and potential knowledge of stuff that's going on. And there's nothing I could probably talk about right now. But what I would expect is, I think what people have been talking about, I think would be really smart for Microsoft to continue to leverage their relationship with Nintendo to do some really cool stuff. Or in the Blind Forest comes out in 2 weeks. Give a lot of people a chance to play those games. And I think they will continue to go down that road because it makes a lot of sense being in third place, seemingly in third place. But nothing right now. Keep tuned to Twitter, maybe, because pretty good track record, huh?
You
almost
do
like-
have a good track record. Yes.
It's almost like there's, again, some of them are educated guesses, but some of them are, things that I'm allowed to talk about because no one listens to me anyways. So
That's a great thing about podcasts.
yeah,
Nobody listens.
I think, the one thing I will say, people were really mad about Persona on the Switch not being what they wanted. But I would not give up, is what I would say on that. So I would say you might actually be getting more Persona than just the crappy Muso game that they have announced. That
Crappy Muso game. What?
Yep.
That's
You didn't really need to say crappy there,
what
but
a weird combination of words.
I mean, hell, if I couldn't get into a Zelda Muso game, there's no franchise that they could put.
So good.
No,
So
it's
good.
it's good for 1 hour and 55 minutes.
No,
See-
it's good
see-
for
CJ's
hours.
CJ is very strange in that he's like, oh, Muso games, who cares? But as soon as like, oh, Tinkle's in it? Well,
I've been
Tinkle.
trying.
I think you
Suddenly-
mean
And
Tinkle.
Linkle.
huh? What did I say? Did I say
You said
Tinkle?
Tinkle.
That's I
That's
to
not
be
right.
to be fair, I'm pissing my pants right now, which is what
And-
threw me off.
Have you seen how many hours Greg has played Fire Emblem?
How many hours have I played that?
A few.
Because it feels like about 1,000. And I finally decided I'm never finishing that game. Like I don't know why.
With the
I thought I
Fire
would.
Fire Emblem Warriors.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
no, you
my
don't
God.
you don't play a Muso game to try and finish it because
No, you
those,
don't.
Those things
No.
are like, yeah.
Players
There's
who pass the
a lot
time.
of stuff
Now
in those.
officially the latest that I've stayed up in about 6 months.
All right.
Me
Let's
too.
get Kevin out of here.
We're going to get Kevin out of here. Alrighty, and that is our show for this week. Thank you very much for listening. If you have a question for us, would like to comment on something that you heard, you can direct that to @P1 Podcast on the Twitters, or you can go to our internet website at player1podcast.com. There you'll find our contact information. You'll find blog entries about Sega CD from Mr. Greg Seward.
I'm working on a new one right now. Well, not right now, but currently.
Yes. You'll find Generation 16 episodes.
Also working on a new one.
There you go.
Mm.
And you'll find show notes and links to the things that we talked about. It's probably just going to be a link to the Nintendo Direct, so get ready for that.
Mm.
But and some of the games we talked about, of course. But that's the thing. And in our show notes, you'll find a link to our Discord server. There you can talk about video games and movies and all sorts of stuff.
Totally sounded like
with-
you said boobies.
I said movies,
Okay.
to be clear,
Mm.
and all that stuff with us and other listeners.
If you'd like to subscribe to the Player One Podcast, you can do so by visiting player1podcast.com or by loading up the Apple Podcast application. You can also head over to the App Store and invest $1.99
Cheap.
to pick up the Player One Podcast iPhone application. It gives you one-touch communication with us via the emails, the Twitters, the what have you. You also have all of our episodes ready to stream right to your listening device. And hey, Android cell phone, telephone users, the Player One Podcast iPhone application available to you as well. And the same $1.99.
Also cheap.
Right over there, the Amazon Android Marketplace. We're also on Stitcher Radio. You can like us on Facebook. We're on Spotify. We are on YouTube. If you go to the youtubes.com
We are now.
/P1 Podcast, you can find archives of hundreds of our past episodes. And I guess we're back to broadcasting live on YouTube, assuming this
Possibly.
works.
Yeah.
So that's good. Follow our Twitter account to find out when we'll be doing our next there we go, live broadcast. And hey, and if you like what you've heard, and how could you can head over to patreon.com /P1 Podcast. Throw a few shekels our way. I don't know, CJ embezzles money. That's the
What?
joke. That's the joke. CJ's
Right.
embezzling from us.
Not at all.
That's okay. What was he gonna say, people? Did you expect
Not-
him to
not
just
at
say,
all.
"Yeah, sure"? Yeah, sounds like what a
No.
guilty man would say.
But hey, Patreon dollars paying for this nice webinar software that broadcasts to YouTube.
oh, is that right?
So,
Oh, I didn't realize
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Well, there you go. See, thank you, Patreon friends.
That's
hey, and you know
right.
what? Here's a little something back for you. If you are a Patreon supporter of the $5 tier, you do gain access to a special weekly post show After Hours, where we play games, we crack wise, we have all sorts of fun. Join us, won't you? Our pocketbooks will thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, CJ's pocketbooks. We don't see any of that money. Hey, and if you have a couple bucks left over, head over to generation-16.com, where you'll find the Patreon link to help support Greg Stewart's outstanding web series about North America's favorite Sega banana, the Sega Genesis.
Thank you, Phil.
CJ,
Yeah.
thank you so much for being you.
Well, thank you, Phil.
I was just kidding about all that stealing stuff.
I hope so.
When you commit crimes,
I don't.
you like full on shoplifting. You don't do this this
CJ's a
half-hearted
big fan of the
embezzling.
Dine and Dash. I learned last week.
It's
No,
very true.
I drive in the bus lane, apparently.
That's true.
There's no
That's
apparently
actually true.
there. There's no
No
apparently.
There's
There's
I
That
find
was-
myself in the bus lane all the time.
there's Greg
And then even after you're told you're in the bus lane, you just kept going for blocks.
I certainly am.
Like Phil and I were like looking at each other like he's not
What, you want me
he's
to
not getting out of the
switch
bus
lanes
lane.
in the middle of an intersection?
Yeah, that's it. An intersection? You mean multiple intersections?
Yeah.
Well-
or the several blocks in between those intersections. Greg Stewart, thank
Yo.
you for joining us.
Thank you, Phil.
And of course, a super special, extra wonderful thank you to our favorite sleepyhead, the poor guy we've kept up way too
That's
late.
true. It's past his bedtime.
The always wonderful, and you know what? He's always wonderful, and that's a Larrabee lock. Kevin Larrabee. Kevin Larrabee.
Question a little bit here. Well, thank you guys so much for the opportunity to come hang out and talk about video games. And I do it also on Back of My Play, which is back. It's
back.
rather consistent now. It's been a couple busy weeks at the gym, so we haven't done an episode in the last couple weeks. But it's 3 new episodes in the last month that you can go check out, which is 3 more than there were in the previous 6 months. So you can go check those out, where we talk about video games, some good interview stuff with Mike Micah, some good hangouts on there with actually Greg Stewart and John Lenneman. We had a cool retro hangout talking about games, and also a massive episode talking about Resident Evil 4. I finally played that game for the first time in my life, and it's very, very good.
It's a good one.
It's an outstanding game. If you're looking
Believe
for
the
a reason
rumors.
or you need someone to talk you into playing Resident Evil 4, I have an episode for you that's 2 hours long with myself, John Linneman again, and Ryan Payton. So you can go and check that out. And on future episodes, like I mentioned, we're probably going to try to redo our Link's Awakening episode with CJ and Peter Brown of GameSpot. And there are still episodes planned for Doom 64. And eventually, Ryan Payton is very busy. I think he's making a Marvel game or something. Just kidding. It's Iron Man VR. But we are still planning on doing a Metal Gear Solid 4 episode. Because of course he had quite a bit of involvement in that game, and I think it would be really fun for him to go back and play that, try to churn up some memories, and see how that game holds up. Almost, God, it will be 12 years old next year.
Jeez,
can believe it.
Wow.
Yeah, quite impressive. So yeah, really good stuff going on at Back of My Play, and of course, if you've never listened to it before, those episodes tend to hold, or stand the test of time. They don't really go out of date because those games are old, and the episodes are very, very good, I think, and fans of the show seem to really like them. And you also find the other guests or the other people on this episode, of course, Phil, CJ, and Greg, scattered throughout those episodes. It's so really good stuff. So you can get some good cross promotion there as well. But yeah, guys, thanks so much. It's always a pleasure to hang out and chat.
Always like having you.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right.
And that's it. We'll see everybody next week.
Bye.
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 Toodaloodles.